Glory be to the name of our triune God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, yesterday, today, and forevermore. I greet and welcome you all to this English service. May the name of our God alone be glorified. For the past few weeks, we are doing a teaching series on Jehovah's Witnesses, one of the major cults of today, Jehovah's Witnesses. We have looked at their background information, historical elements. The last talk, I gave a lecture on the major beliefs, the current belief system of Jehovah's Witnesses, not the past belief system, which we will deal later. Today, I'm going to speak about the life of Jehovah's Witness. What is the life of a Jehovah's Witness? How is it to live as a Jehovah's Witness? What are the do's and don'ts for Jehovah's Witnesses? And what are the practices of Jehovah's Witnesses? The structure of the organization called Jehovah's Witnesses. So before moving into the doctrinal elements and the biblical refutation, it is good for us to know how they operate and what is life to live as a Jehovah's Witness. So, Jehovah's Witness is a hierarchical organization. It is not independent. It is a hierarchical organization and it is controlled and led by the governing body of the witnesses from the Watchtower Society's headquarters in New York. The governing body has 6 committees that is responsible for various functions, including publication, programs, and evangelization. This governing body and its committee supervises everything, including its 100 branch offices that is located worldwide, and each branch office oversees the activities of the witnesses in a particular country or region. The branch committees, who are directly appointed by the governing body, supervises administrative functions of the congregations in the jurisdiction. And also, with regard to congregation, each congregation is served by a group of locally recommended male elders. It is also assisted by ministerial servants, that is, their deacons. Even though they claim that they are controlled directly by Jehovah, the organization is controlled by governing body. They claim that it is directly controlled by Jehovah. Next is placed Jesus Christ, and next is placed the governing body, that is the faithful and discreet slave class that is mentioned in Matthew. They claim that this is mentioned in Matthew 24 verses 45 to 47. Since 2023 of February, it has 9 members in governing body. Each of members claims to be the anointed super elite class. That is, they claim they are one among the 144,000. So there are no elections for membership. New members were elected from the existing body. Each member serves as the chairman, and the position rotates among members alphabetically each year. So until late 2012, the governing body described themselves as the representative spokesman of God's faithful and discreet slave class. So in 2010, approximately about 11,000 witnesses claimed they are the anointed ones. So a person has to claim that he is an anointed one. Out of lakhs of witnesses, approximately 11,000 claim that they are anointed. So up until 2012, the faithful and discreet slave class is referred to all the anointed ones. But at the 2012 AGM of Watchtower Society, the faithful and discreet slave was redefined as referring to the governing body only. That is changed. Up until 2012, all those who profess to be anointed or can be claimed as faithful and discreet slave class. So, if 11,000 people claim, so 11,000 people has to have a controlling role, but only 9 people exercise that role. So they have changed that role. From 2012, the faithful and discreet slave class refers to those 9 people only. Since 1944, the Watchtower Society had made occasional references to a governing body, and from that on, the governing body developed, and by 1976, significantly, the Watchtower Society increased the powers of the authority of governing body and reduced those of the Watchtower Society president. So the power is now vested with the 9 people. So the governing body comprises of 6 committees: chairman's committee, writing committee, teaching committee, service committee, publishing committee, and personnel committee. It comprises its members along with its helpers. It is responsible for these 6 subdivisions of various activities. This governing body, through these 6 mediums, appoints representatives, circuit overseers, traveling overseers, branch office committee members, and so on. And about this is the governing body. This is the head of the Jehovah's Witnesses movement. Nearly 100 branch offices are operating worldwide. It is directly under the oversight of headquarters representatives who visit the assigned branches every year, and they delegate various duties. Each branch is called as Bethel. Each branch is called as Bethel. The United States branch office, spread in 3 New York State locations, have with a staff of more than 5,000. It also serves as the international headquarters. And also, branch offices, it is operated by families, volunteers known as Bethel families. They distribute Bible-based literature, that is their literature, and communicate with their congregations in their jurisdiction. And also, branch officers appoint various committees in its jurisdiction committees that include hospital liaison committee, patient visitation group, that is needed because they reject blood transfusions. So to cope up with that, they are adapting these 2 committees, and regional building committee, hall committee, convention committee, disaster relief committee. So those committees are working under them. And also they have traveling overseers. They have many traveling overseers that is directly appointed by governing body. They travel throughout the world and visit the congregations and meet with the elders, ministerial servants, and pioneers, and appointment of new elders, ministerial servants based on recommendation by elders, that is taking place through them. So it is like a visiting apostle to them. The traveling overseers is like a visiting apostle to them, and local congregations are advised to render them double honor, provide hospitality, and also vehicles, healthcare, lodging, and also to reimburse the basic expenses. And with regard to elders, each congregation has a body of elders, multiple elders. They are responsible for governance, pastoral work, selecting speakers, directing preaching, and creating judicial committees to investigate and to decide disciplinary action in cases of breaching of their laws. So even though there is no educational requirement for elders, training programs are offered by them. So elders are considered overseers for them. The roles of the elders include as a congregation secretary, coordinator, group overseer, study conductor, service overseer. So these things are to be done by elders. And with regard to congregations, a congregation may have 10 or about 200 members. They met in kingdom halls So if a person is from Nagarkoil, he is allotted a particular place. You are to visit that kingdom hall. So if you are from this locality, you are to visit that kingdom hall. So each congregation is assigned a territory, and members are requested to attend the congregation of the territory in which they reside. They also meet in field service groups, private homes, and each field service group as an appointed group overseer, and they are instructed to devote as much as possible in preaching activities. And with regard to the term minister, every baptized witness is a minister. Elder is different, but every baptized Jehovah's Witness is called a minister, and they all have to labor in that team, and they were in that moment. And these congregations are governed by local elders, and then it is followed by ministerial servants. So ministerial servant is the term which they employ. This is another term which they employ for the word deacon. So they were to assist the elders in the maintenance of kingdom hall, and to assist the elders as in various to meet their various needs, to maintain the accounts, to provide audio visual equipments and maintenance of them, to maintain the issue of magazine, to coordinate the literature, to maintain the attendance register, and so on. And then comes baptized publisher. They differentiate people, the attendees, into baptized and unbaptized publisher. So baptized publishers are members who have been baptized following conversion. So they do not practice infant baptism, and they also do not agree if a person is baptized from another Christian congregation. They do not consider any other congregations to be Christians. So every Jehovah's Witness has to be baptized by them. So they have to pledge before the baptism, and after that he is an ordained minister. Publishers are to set goals for average hours of preaching, average hours of literature distribution, average hours of house visiting, and they are given monthly tasks and assignments. This much and this much time you have to devote your time to house visit, door to door visit, literature distribution, and dissemination of their literature, and so on. If a person, a publisher, fails to report for 1 month, they are termed irregular. If a person fails to do that for 6 months, they are called inactive, and disciplinary action follows. And unbaptized students are the believers who are not yet baptized, but who have requested, been granted approval to join in the congregation's ministry. So they must demonstrate a basic knowledge of the witness doctrine and state the desire to conform to the organization moral standard. So first a person have to become an unbaptized publisher. So he must have association with Jehovah's Witnesses, share a desire to be, and also must be an active associate of Jehovah's Witness, regularly attending Jehovah's Witness meetings. And then associates. Associates are those who attend meetings of Jehovah's Witness but are not involved in preaching. They are called as associates. So that is the first step. And also unbaptized individuals who attend meetings of witness are not subject to congregation discipline, but the elders may warn members of the congregation about individuals who constitute an unusual threat to the flock. If a person is not willing to take baptism or to pledge its time and labor to the movement, that is called as an unusual threat to the flock. So this is the organizational setup. That is the governing body. Under the governing body, 6 committees, and there from that originates the branches and local societies, and from that, district overseers, circuit overseers, congregational elders, and ministerial servants, congregation publishers, and pioneers. This is how they operate. So, there is no individual liberty in Jehovah's Witnesses. This is about their organizational setup. And with regard to how they operate, how it is to live as a Jehovah's Witness. If a person, first he goes as an attendee, then as an unbaptized publisher, and then as a baptized publisher, then next step, ministerial servant, congregation elder, circuit overseer, and the hierarchy goes up. So, how it is to live as a Jehovah's Witness? Is that life a joyful one? So, in their literature, everything, if you have an opportunity to view their literature, beautiful images. Jesus is laughing, paradise, everyone is overjoyed. They portray that in the Jehovah's Witness organization, everyone is like that only. But is that true? If a person is bound to Jehovah's Witnesses, is life a heaven for him? So, that is what we are going to expound today. So, every professing Jehovah's Witness has to attend their worship that is conducted at kingdom halls. So, as I told earlier, every person, every witness is assigned to a congregation in which territory they are reside. They are expected to attend every weekly meetings as scheduled by the society. And that meetings are largely devoted to study of their doctrines. And they have to refer themselves as brothers and sisters. And the form and content of meetings is established and given by its headquarters, involving the consideration of the same subject matter worldwide each week. So, worldwide, more than 1 lakh congregations are in the world. So, more than 1 lakh congregation has to adapt the same form and content every week. That is prescribed to them already. One should not violate that. And 2 meetings each week are divided into 5 sessions lasting about 4 hours. They open and close with a hymn. They refer to them as kingdom songs. And all witnesses are then urged to prepare for all meetings by studying Watchtower literature, from which the content is drawn. So, before attending a meeting, so I happen to attend a meeting. So, all people will given a literature or an article earlier, and they have to meditate that, and they have to only reflect upon that. So, no one should go outside from their material. So, that is what that happened. And if you have to happen to visit a kingdom hall, it does not contain any religious symbols. And also, in a year, once in a year and twice in a year, thrice in a year, they have variety of meetings, 1-day assembly, 2-day assemblies, 3-day regional convention, international conventions, and their most important meeting is the celebration of Christ's death, that is held annually. So, in a weekend meeting that is held on Sunday, it first starts with a 30-minute public talk by the elder or a ministerial servant, then followed by a 1-hour Q&A from their magazine. So, members can express their own words to express the ideas in the printed material, but ideas and reflections from independent study apart from their material is heavily discouraged. So, an article is given particularly from the Watchtower magazine. So, one can use their own words to express the ideas that is already provided in the printed material, but he should not have an independent Bible study apart from what is given to them. That is indoctrination. That is why, even if we share the true gospel to those people, they are hesitant to accept it first, because they are trained in that manner. If you study any other material, you are doomed. So, then in the midweek meeting that is held in the evening, that is also includes a Q&A session based on their publications, Bible reading, and presentations on how to use their literature in public preaching. And also a congregational Bible study in a Q&A format based on their society's publication. And they also have a family worship evening. There is no specific format for that meeting, but it is also told that they should consider Watchtower Society publication during this time. So annually they commemorate the death of Christ by observing Lord's evening meal. They celebrate once in a year, particularly on the Passover season. They claim that the Bible commands only to observe the memorial of Christ's death, that is the Lord's Supper only. So they claim that they are doing the right thing. So millions partake in that, but out of those millions, only the persons who claim to be anointed can partake of the unleavened bread and the wine. So millions can attend the memorial service, but only those who claim to be anointed, because they are the last week I have studied. So according to them, they only have the privilege to share heaven. No one else, not even the unanointed witnesses. In 2022, about 19.7 million people attended. What is 19.7 million? 1 million equals to 10 lakhs. 19 million means? Brother Rajan will. 19 million means 1 million, 10 lakh, 10 million, 1 crore, 19 million means 1.9 crore, nearly 19.7 million. About 2 crore people attended. But only 21,000 members partook of the Lord's table. So only 21,000 people have the courage to say, I will inherit heaven. Is this the gospel? Is this the good news? So they also do not have the security of the salvation, because if the 1,44,000 vacancy gets filled, these 21,000 will not have any room. So what about the next generation? Now these 21,000 people have secured the place. Then the next generation, then no anointed people can rise up. So, but they will change the doctrine, because they have the customary of changing doctrine from time to time. And each year they also hold circuit assemblies in each circuit worldwide. And once in a year they also gather at larger assemblies called regional conventions. And regional convention feature a baptism talk followed by baptism on new members. So in 1958, their convention had an attendance of more than 2,53,000. So it is a pathetic thing to see that millions attend the Lord's Supper, but they are not sure to say that I will be with the Lord in heaven. So it is our duty to share the gospel to them. If they come with the word, there is a good news, we have to say, first I have to share you a good news. Are you going to heaven? He will certainly say no. So we should say there is a way to heaven. So it is the need. So even though they have a false gospel, They do not have the security of salvation. They do not have the assurance of heaven. But they were very keen and very tirelessly evangelizing their false doctrine. They were working very hard. Is it because of the joy of salvation? No. There is another side. So, they were taught, the witnesses were taught that it is there. They are under the obligation to give witness to the world by evangelizing and proselyting work. And they are also told they have a moral obligation to serve as publishers to disseminate the true doctrine. So, for one to be qualified for baptism, first he had to be qualified as an unbaptized publisher. Then only he can be considered for baptism. So first a person has to become an attendee, then he has to attain the status of unqualified, unbaptized publisher. So he have to disseminate their material, so he had to install stalls and he had to proclaim their false doctrine, and then from a certain period of time only he will be promoted to take baptism. Then he will be ordained. So they have a strategy of visiting door to door. They claim that it is a kingdom command. So also they were told to put their lives and the secular and recreational pursuits behind to promote their literature. Their literature suggests that endurance in public preaching is a requirement of witness to attain salvation. So a witness cannot claim he is saved. Endurance in public preaching is a requirement for witness to attain salvation. For them to attain salvation, they are saying, I have a good news. Is that a good news? For him to receive good news, he have to, from 700 hours, he have to preach. 700 hours, he have to distribute literature. You have to visit this much houses. Then only I can say, you are under God's salvation. You are under God's witness. Then only you can be baptized. And unbaptized is not saved. So, pathetic. So, members have to minimally commit 840 hours per year for evangelization. That is mandatory. 840 years, an average of 70 hours per month. 70 hours per month. They are called regular pioneers, and those who commit 50 hours per month are called auxiliary pioneers. Those who dedicate on an average more than 120 hours per month to their work are called pioneers. So they are called pioneers. There is a certain degree. And every local congregation provides territory specialized maps for commercial areas to distribute literature and to do their work. And witnesses are instructed to fill monthly reports on their preaching activity, literature distribution activity. That includes listing the hours spent, publication placed within households, number of return visit made to households. These reports measures the spirituality of individuals, and this qualifies people as elders or ministerial servants. If a witness for 1 month, if he fails to produce the report, he is an irregular publisher. If he fails for 6 months, he is called as inactive publisher. Then disciplinary action follows and shunning from families follows. So they have employed a variety of methods. Evangelism is primarily then achieved by their literature and their usage of their website. Literature and website. So that is more of a publishing wing. Jehovah's Witnesses is more of a publishing wing. They make extensive use of their literature, books, magazine, study Bibles, and so on. their magazines are provided in many languages. If you visit jw.org for a moment, you can have a glance of how they operate and what are the materials that were available. So, new books, brochures, and study materials, videos, audios, and so on are provided. If you visit their Bible teachings and library, if you visit the page library of their website, and then there you have access to online Bible, magazines, books and brochures, articles, broadcasting, videos, music, drama, workbooks, and online library. Their online library has an index of more than, I think, from 1950 or 1970 or so, they have indexed their every material. So, if you visit their page magazine, this is the daily devotion of their they have a daily devotion. You can install that in the computer as an independent software that indexes everything they have published. So, not everything, something is only hidden for elders and something is only given only to their congregational leaders. So, some material is hidden from public, but most of the material is made online, and every witness is told to make much use of this literature. If you please visit the page magazine, their magazine, library, and then magazines. If you click the link magazines, then it indexes to the page and choose a language. If you go to choose their language, it provides their material in hundreds of languages. This is the Watchtower is the monthly edition, and the Awake is particular annual edition. So if you go down and if you search for language, it will sort out. If you click there, it will list hundreds and hundreds of languages. Magazine, study Bibles, and all sorts of literature. Up until the early 1990s, their material is sold, but then they have made a decision because of following the laws of a case before US Supreme Court with regard to sales tax exemption. They decided that they should distribute all their literature freely. So, before assembling for a congregational meetings, every witness is given a weekly assignment. That weekly assignment, monthly assignment is different. Evangelizing task. Studying task is different. Every witness is given a link or an article or a book or a magazine to study for that particular week. They are expected to read all magazine and books published by the society, and no more and no less. No other books should be entertained. If a person is found, he will be threatened. An analysis noted that each year witnesses are expected to read more than 3,000 pages of society's publications. If a person correctly reads every literature published by them, he is supposed to read 3,000 pages per year. I doubt that a common normal Christian ever reads 3,000 pages in his lifetime. If a person reads 3,000 pages in his lifetime, that is an Olympic reward. But they read 3,000 pages for a year. So, it has to be worth noting. And with regard to conversion, if a person first attends brainwash, then he is made to exposed to their literature, and then they are required to follow a systematical study course in their home for several months. But getting baptism from witness is not very easy. First you have to read all their literature, you are exposed, and you have to express your desire, and a follow-up of systematic in non-biblical systematic, they are systematic. For several months, they will be expected to attend meetings and demonstrate a willingness to carry out doorstep ministry. Before baptism, they have to have a discussion with the elders based on the Q&A on their very many subjects, and they have to accept their foundation beliefs. Baptism particularly take place at their conventions, and they have to pledge their allegiance by answering two questions. First question is asked: have you repented of your sins, dedicated yourself to Jehovah, and accepted his way of salvation to Jesus Christ? A person has to respond yes. Then, do you understand that your baptism identifies you as one of Jehovah's Witnesses in association with Jehovah's organization? And after candidates agree to both questions, they will undergo immersion baptism. Then, after baptism, a person is automatically ordained. So as I told you earlier, witness consider the baptism to be ordinations. First, unbaptized publishers are considered regular ministers, and baptized publishers are considered ordained ministers. Only males can be appointed as elders and ministerial servants, and females not have a major role with regard to their eldership and so on. And for a person to become a witness, he has to face a lot of hurdles, and after a person becomes witness, there does not end. So he is in a constant threat to face disciplinary action. There are variety of sins that were employed by Jehovah's Witness. If you do that sin, you are under divine discipline. If it is determined if a person has committed a grievous sin according to the witness, a tribunal committee, usually composed of 3 elders, is informed to determine guilt and to apply discipline. Disfellowshipping is the most severe form of discipline. Before taking the step, if a person is deemed that he committed a serious sin, they will employ the method called disfellowshipping. A person has 7 days to appeal. If a person is deemed that he is disfellowshipped, he has 7 days to appeal. Then, if that person has not appealed, then the disfellowshipping will be announced to the congregation. After a person is disfellowshipped, he is shunned by all baptized members, including family members. Then, if a person is disfellowshipped, the family members, even if it is a father, mother, children, brothers, co-brothers, relatives, they are told to have maintain distant with that disfellowshipped individual. Family members living outside the home of those who are disfellowshipped have minimal contact. Reproof involves sins that could lead to disfellowshipping. Only those who consider truly repented or reproved rather than disfellowship. There is another set of discipline called reproof, that is for some lighter sins. Then a practice of disfellowship, practice of discipline is called marking. Marking is practiced if a person's course of action is regarded as a violation of Bible principles, reflecting badly on the congregation. But it is not a disfellowshipping offense. So, in that organization, there is a court, and there are cases, and there are sets of disciplines and punishments. So, there is no freedom. With regard to family life, it is a patriarchal family. So, husband is the head, and married couples, the husbands are treated, or wives are instructed to respect their husband and obey their husband. And They, with regard to blood, so this is a major issue. They misinterpret Leviticus 17, 10, 11, and they apply that one at any cost should not receive blood transfusion. So, even if he is met with an accident, and or in other medical cases, if a person needs blood, he should not receive blood transfusion, and he should reject transfusions of whole allogenic blood and some of its fraction components. And also, the organization has established hospital information services that provides education and facilitation of bloodless surgery. So they have a great wing that is also indexed in their reference library. Blood transfusion is medically false. That is that they claim. Because of blood transfusions, many diseases are carried to the person who is a recipient of the transfusion. So they have a medical system and established hospital information service. They have published a variety of articles and papers with regard to their position. So, but some folks within the organization do not endorse this doctrine. They secretly have to have blood transfusions. So that is a misinterpretation. And with regard to spiritual warfare, they teach that they are engaged in a spiritual warfare, and the spiritual warfare is fought with truth, righteousness, and good of peace, word, and prayer. They believe that they are being targeted by the world, both other non-Christian denominations and other people against them. So they have a spiritual warfare against the Satan's corrupt system. They believe they were the only people who are under the kingship of Jehovah. All other is false. So by distributing the literature and by proclaiming their so-called good news, they believe they can provide deliverance from spiritual bondages. And they also follow a strict doctrine of separateness. They were always told to live separate from the world. Their publication defined the world as a mass of mankind apart from appointed Jehovah's servants that is ruled by Satan in the place of danger and moral contamination. And a witness has to pronounce their world-renouncing belief in many ways. So they have to avoid any social controversies. So they should not remark for any social moment or social elements, and to remain politically neutral, and they should not seek any public office. And they were encouraged not to vote in elections also. They also refused to participate in interfaith and ecumenical activities. So they will not share platforms with any other denomination or any other religions. They reject every religious holidays, and they claim everything is of pagan origin. They also refuse national military service. It is mandatory for a person in that nation to serve in military. If it fails to happen, they will face imprisonment. So in some countries they have faced imprisonment because of their failure to serve in military service. They do not salute or pledge to national flags or sing national anthems. Recently, I think in Dindukal or so, a headmistress of a government school, in her last day of her service, so a meeting of honor is conducted for her. So that falls occasionally, that is the very day of the Independence Day of India. So August 15, she is about to retire. So those two events were clubbed together: Independence Day gathering, Independence Day celebration, and the celebration of her tenure. When the time came for that woman to hoist the flag and to salute the flag, she said, I will not. And she delegated that to the assistant headmistress. So that became an issue. And, and when she was asked, she replied that, in my religion, I will only bow down to Jehovah. So that caused many non-Christian elements to totally criticize the Christian faith. See, Christians are the ones who will always will stand up against the nation. But in reality, we honor our nation, we salute our flag, and we do respect our national leaders, and we do pray for the betterment of our nation, and we do pray for the peace of our nation. But they say that we will not salute or pledge allegiance to national flags. And also they are encouraged to minimize their social contact with non-members, even if they possess decent qualities, because of perceived dangers of association. Association with those outside the organization are termed by witnesses worldly. And they also, with regard to in celebrations, in weddings, anniversaries, and funerals, even though they are observed, they avoid incorporating certain traditions. If they deem this is from pagan origin, we should not observe that in marriage, funeral, and anniversaries. So there is a dispute even with regard to wearing wedding ring in marriages, because there is a view that it is from a pagan origin. We have to be cautious about that. No birthdays, Easter, Christmas, no National Day, no Independence Day, no New Year's Day. Every celebration is shunned to them. So they also engage in humanitarian efforts, particularly with regard to their people, and the funding of activities. They fund their activities such as publishing, construction, and evangelization via donations. Now they have solicited much donations than before because of to cover their operational costs. So it is not an enjoyable life to live as a Jehovah's Witness. You have to submit weekly reports. You should not study from any other thing. So before closing this presentation, let me elucidate one report. Some former Jehovah's Witnesses have published an article or published a series of articles called 144 Rules Jehovah's Witnesses Can't Do. These 141 things were summarized by Jehovah's Witnesses, former Jehovah's Witnesses. So I fastly read those things. 1. Belong to another organization or club for the purpose of socializing with non-believers. These are things that are forbidden. 2. Have best friends and activity buddies who are not Jehovah's Witnesses. 3. Associate with people outside their organization when it is not necessary. 4. Attend social functions sponsored by their employer unless attendance is required. 5. Associate with co-workers after business hours in social meetings. 6. Disagree with their organization rules and code of conduct. 7. Disagree with their organization doctrine. 8. Contributing to the national presidential campaign fund on their tax return. 9. Join the armed forces and defend their country. 10. Say the pledge of allegiance. 11. Salute the flag. 12. Vote. 13. Run for leadership in their organization. 14. Run for leadership in any organization. 15. Take a stand for any political issue inside their organization. 16. Take a stand on any political or worldly issue out there of their organization. 17. Campaign for a political candidate. 18. Hold political office. 19. Discuss politics. 20. Be a union steward or staff steward. 21. Actively be involved in a union strike. 22. Use a gun for protection against humans. 23. Become a police officer if a gun is required. 24. Wear military uniforms or clothing associated with war. 25. Take yoga classes and practice the discipline of yoga. 26. Smoke tobacco and cigars. 27. Work full-time selling tobacco and cigars. 28. Attend Alcoholics Anonymous. 29. Donate blood. 30. Have blood transfusions. 31. Read books, magazines, publications and literature from other religions. Other religions includes every other Christian denomination also. 32, buy anything from a church store, that is other Christian organization. Buy something at a church garage sale. 34, donate items to a church run store. 35, shop at the Salvation Army. 36, work for the Salvation Army. 37, work for another church. 38, play competitive sports on a school team. 39, play competitive sports professionally. 40, run for class president. 41, become a cheerleader. 42, go to school prom or school dance. 43, attend class reunions. 44, be hypnotized. 45, accept Jesus as their mediator. So Jesus is not mediator to everyone, only for 1,44,000 Jesus is mediator. If a person says, I am not anointed, Jesus is my mediator, you are shunned. 46, join the Boy Scouts. 47, join the Girls Guides. 48, join YMCA. 49, serve on jury duty. 50, study psychology, philosophy, sociology, viewpoints that might shake their faith. If a person studies psychology, philosophy, sociology, then he is bound to leave that organization. So he is to abstain from doing that. 51, attend other Christian churches. 52, attend non-denominational churches. 53, attend non-Christian churches. 54, get married in another church. 55, dating non-believers is discouraged. 56, casual dating is discouraged. 57, dating someone without the intent of getting married. 58, having sex before marriage. 59, breaking and encouragement, separation, unscriptural divorce may result in disciplinary action. 60, marriage to non-believers is not recommended. 61, be gay or lesbian, homosexuality is unacceptable. 62, throw rice at wedding. 63, get divorced unless the reason is adultery. 64, can remarry unless their ex commits fornication first. 65, toast drinks. 66, buy a raffle ticket. 67, play bingo. 68, gamble. 69, sing any holiday songs. 70, sing the national anthem. 71, celebrate Christmas. 72, celebrate New Year Eve. 73, celebrate Easter. 74, Mother's Day. 75, Father's Day. 76, birthday. 77, Thanksgiving. 78, Flag Day. 79, Veterans Day. 79, 80, Independence Day. 81, Patrick's Day. 82, Valentine's Day. 83, Halloween. 84, Hanukkah. 85, holiday gifts. 86, celebrate any other holiday except the death of Jesus. 87, partake in the bread and wine that represent Christ unless they are part of 1,44,000. If you are not part of 1,44,000, you should never take part of blood and wine. 88, make holiday artwork for school. 89, engage in holiday parties at school. 90, take on leadership role at school. 91, pornea, that is pornography. 92, do suggestive and immodest dancing in public place. 93, attend a class, workshop, seminar sponsored by another church. 94, attend social events or fundraisers sponsored by other church. 95, use of bad words to discourage. 96, wear blue jeans, shorts or overly casual clothing at Kingdom Hall. 97, wear pants at a Kingdom Hall if you are a woman. 98, wear revealing clothes or skirts that are too short. 99, wear long hair or facial hair if you are a man. 100, body piercings. 101, tattoos. 102, state or imply that the whatever is not run by Jehovah God. 103, have discussions and express Bible-based viewpoint that contradict the organization beliefs. If you have a discussion itself, that is evil for them. 104, say anything negative about their organization. 105, consider other religions' beliefs as valid and faithful. 107, take another Jehovah's Witness to court with some exceptions. 108, wear or own a cross. 109, own any religious picture. 110, own any religious stature. 111, engage in idolatry. 112, believe in miracles. 113, believe in ghosts. 114, believe in witchcraft. 115, black magic. 116, white magic. 117, consult with a psychic. 118, study carrot thoughts. 119, numerology. 120, dabble in ESP. 121, use a tool such as pendulum to access information in spiritual realm. 122, communicating with departed spirits. 123, attend a sinners. 124, believing in good luck or say things as good luck to you. 125, believing on anything superstitious. 126, prophecy. 127, speaking tongues. 120, laying of hands. 129, energy healing. 130 read horoscope, 131 astrology, 132 combat training, boxing, martial arts, 133 to say that go to heaven unless they are part of 1,44,000. So we have to ask, are you going to heaven? If you say boldly, I can go to heaven, then proselyte me, then we shall have an argument. 134 worship Jesus as God. 135 idolize any celebrity or love or admit them to excess. 136 women can be elders. 137 women can be ministerial servants. 138 divulge secret information to enemies and those not entitled to know. 139 greet or talk with disfellowship persons. Greeting and talking with disfellowship persons is discouraged. 140 associate with disfellowship persons except for immediate family living in the same house. 141 keep secret from the organization. So this is a minimal list, not an exhaustive list. So very enjoyable life. Is anyone eager to join Jehovah's Witness? This is the kingdom of Jehovah. So we have to pray for them. So, and we have to learn some lessons. Even though they have no heavenly hope, no assurance of salvation, they cannot claim Jesus is our high priest and Jesus is our mediator. They cannot partook of the Lord's Supper, which we monthly or weekly do. They don't have any privilege, but they go house to house speaking that Jehovah is good. How deceived they are. So they have to spend 50 or 70 hours in literacy distribution and preaching. How many hours we spend to disseminate God's truth? How many hours we have committed to evangelism? Those people who have no assurance and no privileges because they don't have truly the Spirit of God. But we have the Spirit of God. How many hours are we dedicating to study the Word of God? Good Christian books, missionary books, theological books. So lessons can be learned. So in the coming talk, we are going to get into the doctrine. What are the teachings and what is the biblical refutation, biblical truth?